So let me start this by saying I don't really remember any of Jesse the Body Ventura's in-ring work. I don't think that I've ever seen a match with him in it. That being said, as a child of the 80s, I vividly remember him being on the old WWF shows and him being a colorful character and his voice being so strong, so unique, powerful. He had a presence whenever he was on screen or doing commentary. And then he left and went to WCW. And I remember seeing him from time to time. And then, as people do before the internet, when they were off your television screen, you had no idea where they went. I know that's a foreign concept for some folks that are, under 35 or 40. But he was gone. I would say it's probably about 92, 93 when he left WCW for whatever reason. I don't remember what happened there. But he was gone. And then he turned up again in 1998, 1999. And Jesse the Body Ventura was a politician. And he got elected to public office. More specifically, to the governor of Minnesota. And this was national news. First of all, he was a professional wrestler who got elected to public office, which I think he was the mayor of maybe Minnesota or something before this, or Minneapolis, I'm sorry. But he got elected to governor of Minnesota as an independent. So this is a cat who had enough personality and power and really just spirit behind him and intelligence. Something that cannot be overlooked with this cat is his intelligence. He had the intelligence to be able to convince people to go out and vote for him as an independent. He was not a Republican or a Democrat. And he got elected as the governor of Minnesota. So that was crazy. And he was also, if I'm not mistaken, a guest referee on WWF back when Stone Cold was like the champion, I believe. I don't remember who he was feuding with at the time. But he was on a major WWF, WWE pay-per-view in the late 90s when he was the governor, which is crazy to think about. And I don't know, y'all. I didn't keep up with it 100% to know exactly what he did or didn't do as a governor. I don't know. I'm not a very political person. But after his governorship was over, he was signed with CNBC, I do believe, or MSNBC, to do a show. And he was signed, I do believe, for 3 years, multi-million-dollars. And this was in the early 2000s. And his stance against the Iraq war at the time was not good. He didn't agree with it. And at that time, the media was able to, I guess you just say, manipulate or have more influence without any, consequence. So what they did was they had him under contract and just didn't put him on television. Didn't allow him to speak for 3 years. That's a little disturbing. But after that was over with, he kind of went on this weird, like, conspiratorial thing, writing books, doing shows, podcasts, whatnot, for years after that. And I hadn't heard nothing else out of Jesse. Every now and then he'd pop up as a guest on somebody's show that I listened to. But he popped up on Theo Von's podcast this past weekend, which I've been a big fan of from the get-go. Love Theo. He's a good dude. And anyway, this podcast was one of the most unintentional comedic performances of Theo's career, because he couldn't get a word in edgewise. I mean, Jesse just blah, 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 blah. And, tangent after tangent, subject after subject. I mean, it literally looked like Theo had been in a heavyweight fight by the time the 2.5 hours of this was over with. And what I came away from it with is this. After not seeing Jesse for years, my entire life, Jesse Ventura has been able to, whether it be via screens or as an earpiece, radio, podcast, whatever, my entire life, 39 plus years, he has been able to use his personality to somehow not only stay in the public eye, but be a force whenever the red light is on. And no matter what he says, it can be off the wall, something that I definitely don't agree with or even conceptualize. I cannot dislike Jesse Ventura. And I've thought about it. I've tried to say, why is this? Why can I just officially say I don't like him? I don't know what it is. I think that he has become such a part of my consciousness as a pro wrestling fan and a guy who thinks outside the box myself. I can't help but like Jesse Ventura. I know it may be to my detriment. He obviously stands for some things that I think are ridiculous. But I feel like you have to respect the fact that he's been able to stay relevant for as long as he has without any real backing from anybody. He has this self-made man. I mean, because nobody's going to go to bat for him because he's too off the wall. He's too different. And maybe that's why I can't dislike him. Because I strive to be off the wall and different. Maybe. I don't know. Definitely gives you something to think about. Do you like Jesse Ventura? If you do, comment below. If you don't, comment below. Tell me why. I would like to know. I hope y'all are doing well. Thanks again for watching if you made it this far. Cheers and good night.